Welcome to this podcast where we learn about Brics. Brics, B-R-I-C-S, is an acronym coined to associate 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The Brics members are known for their significant influence on regional affairs. Since 2009, the governments of the BRICS states have met annually at formal summits. Russia hosted the most recent 12th BRICS summit on 17 November 2020 virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Originally, the first 4 were grouped as BRIC, B-R-I-C, or the BRICS with a small s, before the induction of South Africa in 2010. The BRICS have a combined area of 39 million square kilometers and an estimated total population of about 3.21 billion, or about 27% of the world land surface and 42% of the world population. 4 out of 5 members are among the world's 10 largest countries by population and by area, except for South Africa, the 24th in both. Members of G20 as of 2018, these 5 states had a combined nominal GDP of US $19.6 trillion, about 23.2% of the gross world product, a combined GDP of around $40.5 trillion, which is 32% of the world's GDP, and also an estimated $4.46 trillion in combined foreign reserves. The BRICS have received both praise and criticism from numerous commentators. Bilateral relations among BRICS states are conducted mainly based on non-interference, equality, and mutual benefit. The existence of the BRICS grouping does not signify a formal or informal alliance. There are multiple economic, territorial, and political disputes between the 5 governments. Let's take a look at the history of BRIC. The term BRIC is believed to be coined in 2001 by then chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management G. Mo Neil in his publication Building Better Global Economics BRICS. But it was actually coined by Rupa Purushothaman, who was a research assistant in the original report. The foreign ministers of the initial 4 BRIC general states, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, met in New York City in September 2006 at the margins of the general debate of the UN Assembly, beginning a series of high-level meetings. A full-scale diplomatic meeting was held in Yekaterinburg, Russia on 16 June 2009. Let's take a look at the financial architecture of BRICS. Currently, there are 2 components that make up the financial architecture of BRICS: the New Development Bank, NDB, or sometimes referred to as a BRICS Development Bank, and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, CRA. Both of these components were signed into treaty in 2014 and became active in 2015. The New Development Bank, NDB, formerly referred to as a BRICS Development Bank, is a multilateral development bank operated by the 5 BRICS states. The bank's primary focus of lending will be infrastructure projects with authorized lending of up to $34 billion annually. South Africa will be the African headquarters of the bank, named the New Development Bank Africa Regional Center. The bank will have starting capital of $50 billion with wealth increased to $100 billion over time. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa will initially contribute $10 billion each to bring the total to $50 billion. So far, it has 53 projects underway worth around $15 billion. The BRICS CRA, the Contingent Reserve Arrangement. It is a framework for providing protection against global liquidity pressures. This includes currency issues where members' national currencies are being adversely affected by global financial pressures. It is found that emerging economies that experienced rapid economic liberalization went through increased economic volatility, bringing an uncertain macroeconomic environment. The CRA is generally seen as a competitor to the International Monetary Fund (IMF), and along with the New Development Bank, is viewed as an example of increasing South-South cooperation. The BRICS CRA was established in 2015 by the BRICS countries. The legal basis is formed by the Treaty for the Establishment of a BRICS Contingent Reserve Arrangement, signed at Fortaleza, Brazil on 15 July 2014. With its inaugural meetings of the BRICS CRA Governing Council and Standing Committee held on 4 September 2015 in Ankara, Turkey, it entered into force upon ratification by all BRICS states, announced at the 7th BRICS Summit in July 2015. The BRICS Payment System. At the 2015 BRICS Summit in Russia, ministers from BRICS nations initiated consultations for a payment system that would be an alternative to the SWIFT system. Russian Deputy Foreign Ministry Sergei Ryabkov stated in an interview, the finance ministers and executives of the BRICS central banks are negotiating, setting up payment systems and moving on to settlements in national currencies. SWIFT or not, in any case we are talking about a global multilateral payment system that would provide greater independence and would create a definite guarantee for BRICS. The reception. In 2012, Hu Jintao, the then president of China and paramount leader, described the BRICS countries as defenders and promoters of developing countries and a force for world peace. Western analysts have highlighted potential divisions and weaknesses in the grouping, including significant economic instabilities, disagreements between the members over the UN Security Council reform, and India and China's disputes over territorial issues. So finally, the BRICS are expected to seek a common platform for advanced economies to commit to deeper carbon emission cuts than are currently pledged. India and Brazil have been reluctant to join the global climate change regime that will replace the Kyoto Protocol. India's climate policy stance has been criticized as it has abstained from signing the global emission reduction norms, while China has taken unilateral action to encourage the turnover of its auto fleet and reduce polluting heavy industries. It is reluctant to take steps that might limit its potential growth. So it is in the global financial institutions like the IMF that the BRICS have most sought to increase their influence. The BRICS contribution to the IMF's planned bond issuance up to $50 billion by China and about $10 billion each by the other three could be a bargaining chip towards a more significant role in the institution, even as it helps meet the financing needs. Furthermore, it could help these countries diversify their reserve holdings. While India already has a low dollar share in its foreign exchange reserves, Russia, China, and Brazil are trying to reduce their exposure. Russia has already been reducing its dollar share, with the euro having overtaken the dollar at the end of 2008. Thank you very much for listening on this podcast on BRICS.